Hey y'all, and welcome to Politibrawl. My name is Brian, and politics doesn't usually get lower than this. Kamala Harris is trying to politicize Hurricane Milton in order to galvanize her own campaign. This is perhaps her lowest blow since she left Willie Brown's office. But before we dive in, I want to give a quick shout out to our great sponsors over at Colonial Metals Group. They quite literally have the cure to Biden inflation and Harris economics, but more on that later. Now, let's dive in.
Moments of crisis, if nothing else, should really be the moment that anyone who calls themselves a leader says they're going to put politics aside and put the people first. People are in desperate need of support right now, and playing political games with this moment in these crisis situations, these are the height of emergency situations, is just utterly irresponsible, and it is selfish, and it is about political gamesmanship instead of doing the job that you took an oath to do.
And I've been in touch with both FEMA and the president, as well as marshaling all our state agencies and working to support our local communities. And so for Kamala Harris to try to say that my sole focus on the people of Florida is somehow selfish is delusional. She has no role in this. In fact, she's been vice president for 3.5 years. I've dealt with a number of storms under this administration. She has never contributed anything to any of these efforts. And so what I think is selfish is her trying to blunder into this. No. And here's the thing. She has no role. No, she has no role in this process. I'm in contact with the President of the United States. I'm in contact with FEMA director. I'm obviously managing all our state agencies. We're supporting all our local government. And I will say this. I've had storms under both President Trump and President Biden, and I've worked well with both of them. She's the first one who's trying to politicize the storm, and she's doing that just because of her campaign. She's trying to get some type of an edge. She knows she's doing poorly, and so she's playing these political games. I don't have time for political games. I've got people whose lives are on the line. I've got people whose homes and their possessions are on the line, and we are focused 100% on that mission. I'm not worried about playing her political games. And so she is being selfish by trying to blunder into this when we're working just fine.
Ron DeSantis is 100% right. This man has... There are arguably 2 states in the union that deals with massive amounts of natural disasters. California, because it sits on the San Andreas Fault, and because they refuse to manage their wild areas, they refuse to pick up the firewood that's going to cause wildfires. They refuse to do the smart things. Compare that to Florida, which sits right out on the Gulf, and it's most likely to receive hurricanes more than any other state. So these 2 states could not be compared in any way other than these states are prone to natural disasters. So you have one governor who has been through multiple disasters, who's been through multiple hurricanes, and does his job every single time. And you compare that to someone like Gavin Newsom, who looks more like a Hollywood star than he does a governor. And then you have the gall of Kamala Harris. I don't understand this. I legitimately don't. Maybe it's this weird attempt to appeal to Democrat voters who are just vindictive and despise Republicans and deep down just have a pit of hate that is absolutely bottomless. And they want to see Republicans suffer. Hey y'all, I'm not exactly looking at retirement anytime soon, but my parents are, and friends of my parents are, and I'm sure either you or someone you know is looking at retirement and wondering, what do I do? How do I help prepare for this in this economy with this terrible president and with a vice president who basically coup d'etat him and is now looking to run for president herself? How do you protect against this? Well, simple. You go over to my friends at Colonial Metals Group. They quite literally have something called the Retirement Package Plan. This plan backs your wealth with gold and silver accounts. And furthermore, you will have direct access to these accounts. So you're not at the whims of Wall Street. You're not at the whims of inflation. You are in command of your own destiny. As a bonus, qualified applicants can receive up to $10,000 in free silver, plus a couple of other little goodies that they're going to package up for you, and you're going to be able to protect your wealth and your retirement. So go over to this link in the description below at colonialmetalsgroup.com or call this number 800-203-0422 and see how they can help you prepare for retirement today by backing your account with gold and silver. Don't delay your retirement, folks. Protect the money that you earned with Colonial Metals Group. They're here to help. Under these terrible storms, for instance, Milton, this hurricane that shouldn't have been a hurricane to begin with. People are right to question how this was able to strengthen so fast. The short answer is the Gulf is really warm. That was an area that was unimpacted by Hurricane Helene. And right off the Yucatan is where the warmest waters in the Gulf is right now, and that's what fuels hurricanes. And now it's heading straight for Tampa Bay. Quite literally, my dad, who used to work emergency services for AT&T, showed the initial track of the hurricane. It's going to go right over Disney World, quite literally. Florida is going to be hurting bad after this one. Helene hurt the Panhandle. This is going to just swamp Tampa Bay, and they got sideswiped by the last hurricane. And here we have Kamala Harris, who's running to be president, and instead of saying our heart goes out to the people of Florida, our prayers are with them, our response teams are ready, we are going to handle this problem. Instead of that, she went on a political tirade in an attempt to smear Ron DeSantis. Good luck with that. Ron DeSantis has been in the national spotlight for almost 4 years now, and he even ran for president. He didn't succeed. Donald Trump swamped him at the polls and in the primary. And then, like a good Republican, he understood that the race is over. It's time to start supporting the actual conservative candidate. It's the old Buckley ideal of vote for the most conservative candidate that can win. Ron DeSantis still understands this. Meanwhile, you have, on the other side of the aisle, a political party that is so vindictive, and like I said earlier, have this bottomless pit of hate and just derision of Republican voters. They want to see Republicans and red states suffer. That's just the sad reality. And it's not every Democrat. It's not all Democrats. It's not even most Democrats. But it's the rich white liberals who have just complete control of the party. They are so detached from reality that they are okay with the suffering of human beings because it placates and satiates their desire to see that kind of suffering. It is just this deep-rooted, I hate to call people evil, but that's the word that keeps coming to mind. And you have a political candidate who is failing and flailing so badly in the polls with not even a month to go out from this election that she's doing anything she can to sideswipe and deride Republicans. That's not exactly a winning strategy. Let's see how it works out for you, Kamala. Ultimately, Ron DeSantis has been used to these sort of disasters, and he is on the front lines constantly. Meanwhile, we have a federal government that is so bad at their jobs that FEMA had to come out just days ago and admit there's no more money in their funding. We are in what is a prime hurricane season. We just came out of El Nino in a La Nina system that comes after El Nino every time. You're more prone to hurricanes. You'd think that FEMA would be ready for this, but we've learned from Katrina that FEMA doesn't know what it's doing. And as a matter of fact, not only do they not know what they're doing, they care more about their own structural integrity than the integrity and lives of the American people. Just ask the people of North Carolina and see how that's going for them. That is the level of incompetence that our government, under Joe Biden and now Kamala Harris, keeps showing over and over and over again. And the amount of ridiculous BS spewing from Kamala Harris's campaign, I'd say it's mind-boggling, but at this point, I've just come to accept it. This is what the Democrat Party is, and they need to lose. We deserve good government in the United States. We deserve a FEMA that is ready to spring into action and that won't inhibit and make worse rescue operations from private citizens and non-governmental organizations. That is the kind of government that America deserves. We don't have that right now, and it's absolutely sickening. Folks, my name is Brian. Hope you enjoyed that segment here on Politibrawl. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Catch you on the next one, and until then, y'all have a good one.